All right, welcome back to Arc Salt Lake on your Friday morning. Time right now is 7:17. The University of Utah, now home to one of the fastest AI supercomputers in the world. It's called Redtail. Bill Miller, the director of the Center for High Performance Computing, here to talk about it this morning. Bill, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Redtail, what is it? Let's just start there. For those watching at home, they've never heard of this. Explain this.
Let's start with what a supercomputer is.
Okay, sounds good.
That's already a term. So basically a supercomputer is a lot of computing hardware and software. It has a lot of components in it that you might find in your own laptop, but there are so many of them, and that gives it its scale, so you can do things at large scale. And what makes it super is that all of the processors are connected together, so you can do things not one at a time, but you can do them in parallel. Mm-hmm. And what makes it AI is that we're using graphical processor units, which are the GPUs. You have them in your phone, but we have a lot of them. And what that does is it allows you to do AI. AI is a lot of neural networks, training data, doing inference on data, and this hardware is really important for that.
What was the impetus for this? How did the project come about? When was it first talked about? How long did it take to kind of reach fruition, basically?
Great questions. So the purpose of doing this is to really lower the barriers to access to AI. AI can be quite expensive. And if you want to do research, if you want to do education, innovation for the state, this was an opportunity to make some investments in a very large-scale system that everybody can benefit from. So that was number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, we are doing it in a way, it's called sovereign AI, that we've partnered with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, which is providing this system. It's located in a way and it's constructed in a way that allows us to do it fast. So it actually only took us from the time it started deployment, we call it, from the January timeframe till now, really 11 months, which is actually 6 or 7 months, which is a very short span of time to actually get something that's operating.
Mm-hmm. How does this, what does this do for the University of Utah? What does it do for, I don't know, potentially students there or the community or the state? How does this help us?
As I said, what it really helps is lowering the barriers. Right now, there's a lot of people doing AI work. They do it in the commercial cloud. They do it on their local systems. But there is an essential place to do that here at Utah. And in fact, it's not just the university that's going to be advantaged, it's the entire state. So we are doing this on behalf of all the higher education institutions. That's K-12, that's education, businesses, state government. So all of these groups are going to be advantaged by having access to a system at this scale that they can accelerate their projects with. So that's very important. And then it's also important to note that this is an investment that is partnered. So the state has provided us $15 million for getting this started. The Huntsman Family Foundation has invested $10 million. So between that and the university and the state, we are really working all together on this.
We've also heard this touted as energy efficient in a way. Talk about how this is eco-friendly, so to speak, for a supercomputer.
Exactly, and this is very important. All of us do our work, but we're also citizens, and we're worried about power and consuming water. And we have the advantage here of using air-cooled NVIDIA-based system that is not as power-hungry as some of the larger-scale systems that you might hear of, for example, in Meta and others. That's one. The other is the system is located in a data center that's quite efficient itself, so we didn't have to build something new. We're using part of their space. It's also, as you mentioned, we've been rated not only 159 on the top 500 famous list of fastest supercomputers, but number 79 in efficiency, because the system itself is quite efficient for the amount of computing that you can do.
I want you to comment, if you can, on just the role that the state of Utah plays right now in this entire world of AI and supercomputers. I mean, everyone hears, hey, we have Silicon Slopes down near Utah County. This is a big tech-friendly area. How does that tie in with what is being done at the University of Utah?
I personally don't think we could do this without that lean forward that we have in the state of Utah. The governor has a pro-human AI initiative that's been going on for a while. We have the Responsible AI initiative at the University of Utah, $100 million initiative that's been going on for several years. As you said, there's a lot of tech advantage here in the state. It's a very business-friendly state. Because of that, we have relationships with the vendors, with the companies that do this, that are very strong. For example, there's a memorandum of understanding with NVIDIA on developing the workforce here across the state. Without all of that backdrop, I think it would be hard to do this. And in fact, if you look across the states, the United States, other states are doing these kinds of things, but we're kind of in a pole position because we have this ecosystem already prepared. So that's been very helpful for us to move forward here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I'm going to make it personal here for you. You're relatively new to Utah.
I am.
And the reason you came here is essentially because of that atmosphere, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. So I was at the National Science Foundation for many, many years. I was attracted into coming to Utah from some colleagues here that painted the picture, and they've been exactly right.
Excellent.
It's a very lean forward state, as I said, and the University of Utah has been a great place to work.
I want to ask about the university releasing a call for proposals for AI challenge projects.
Right.
What does that mean exactly?
So we have the machine, but it doesn't do anything unless there's people using it, right? So,
right.
So and in fact, it's brand new. We're just this week finalizing the construction of the machine and getting the keys to it effectively handing over. We wanted to jumpstart the use of the machine by putting out a call for projects. And this is a call not just for the University of Utah, but as I said, for all higher education across the state institutions. And we're looking for projects that have challenge to them, want to have impact, things that we can all celebrate together as the first cohort of projects that will go through the system.
Could you give our viewers just an example of what a project looks like,
Sure.
so they can understand, if somebody wants to use this, what does that mean?
Exactly, and that's an important question. AI is basically two things. One is training a neural network model. So you have a lot of data, let's say it's in the healthcare regime or it's astrophysics, and you want to train up a model that knows a lot about all of that data. Mm-hmm. And so that a supercomputer is important because you need a lot of space, a lot of capacity to do that training. So that once you've trained the model, now you want to ask it questions. You want to say, well, I have some scientific questions or I have some healthcare questions about that. It's exactly what you do when you ask ChatGPT. Somebody trained a giant model on all the data in the internet, and now you're asking it questions to summarize information that would take a long time to do if you had to do it by yourself. So that's basically what AI is, and you can apply that to many different kinds of sciences and education.
Okay, so somebody can have their idea, and then, what is the process for somebody, hey, I want to use this? How do they get hooked up with it?
That's right. Well, you apply for this challenge project. It's the first way we're doing that. And effectively, then you get a lot of consulting from the Center for High Performance Computing. We'll have AI engineers. We have a number of different ways of helping you get to your project done. And then we have to figure out, okay, well, how is that going to run on the computer? And so that's a whole back-end sort of technical process to do that. And we follow you along the way. So this will happen multiple times now over the next few months as we get it started, and then it will become a kind of a regular allocation process like we do for large-scale computing normally. So we're really excited because we're not just serving the university, as I say. I'm getting to learn all about what's going on in the state and all the great ideas that are coming in. So it's been great.
Bill Miller, the director of the Center for High Performance Computing at the University of Utah. We appreciate you coming in and talking about this with us. It's nice to see that we're kind of at the forefront here.
We are. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in.